Us for coffee this morning. If you were able to come to our live, we talked about the tools that we used, repairs, and things we fixed on the rig that broke while we've been traveling the last several months. I didn't mention it in live, and I meant to, that I thought it was a really important conversation to have because I know a lot of people are considering this lifestyle, and you don't always see posts about those kinds of things, like the maintenance pieces and the upkeep and the little things that break. And in our experience, it's been a big part of this lifestyle for us, is to kind of have that mentality of things are going to break and that's okay, and maybe we don't know how to fix those things, but we'll figure it out. And we just sort of have that like DIY spirit and try to fix things on our own, because it's hard to find people and resources that are available quickly while you're traveling. So it was a big part for us of this lifestyle. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, I'm wearing glasses today so that I can hopefully see if you guys comment this time. Our last one, I was like, I don't know if they're saying anything. So good morning. Say hi. We can make sure that we can hear you. We are going to talk about, so we just did that reel that we posted, our last one, about all of the, oh, there, hearts. Thank you. About all of the, well, not all of them, but some of the tools that we've used that we brought with us while we were on the road. And so, good morning. And so it made us think there's probably a lot that we could talk about on that topic. We made a list of things that broke on the rig, like while we've been traveling. So we're going to talk about those, and then things we broke on the rig, and then improvements that we made. So we did, our rig is customized. We did a lot of that work before we left for our big trip. So it was like 95%, like pretty much everything we wanted to do was done before we left. But then as we traveled, there were like little things that came up that we realized we wanted to sort of make changes to. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's start. And you can ask questions if you want. I just split it up and I have a list. So the things that broke outside the rig are, we had the furnace cover.
Oh, yeah, that was one of our first stops.
We were just driving, and
we arrived at our destination, but there was no furnace cover left on the rig.
That that goes over the hot water heater, right?
Yeah.
But we were able to find it.
Yeah, so it's probably not the furnace. It is the hot water heater. But it's that cover that has a tiny little switch lever. It holds it on.
And you found it, though, at a camping store, right?
No, I ordered a new one off Amazon.
Oh, so we had one delivered, and it matched to the rig, and it was fine. The black tank handle, so that's like the little lever thingy you pull on the second black tank, right?
Oh yeah, that was another thing early on. When we arrived at our destination, the little black piece that you grab to pull, not in the water cabinet up front, but on the external black tank on the back of the rig, that piece just left.
And you got it at the camping store?
That I haven't found that piece yet. Grand Design will send me.
So you pull the little lever, but it just doesn't have the black handle part?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we didn't fix that. The hose, we got to Yosemite, and we were pulling into the campground at Yosemite, and someone like ran out screaming at us.
Stop!
Like there was, like the rig was on fire, and we were like, what's wrong? We like stopped, and it was already a crazy drive getting there. And it was that the sewer hose it was still in the little holder thing, but the cap or something had fallen off, and so the sewer hose was dragging the ground.
Yeah.
So
we had been dragging it, apparently, because we've worn all the way through it.
So we had to find a way to get a sewer hose when we got to Yosemite to replace it. But so now you have some sort of cap or something, a rubber band thingy?
No. So there's a tube that's underneath the bottom of the chassis that holds the sewer hose, and it has a little door on it. And I just took a little key ring and just put it through the loop, just to keep that door from opening.
Okay.
Vibrating open while we go down the road.
All right. Other things that vibrate while you go down the road are screws in the side of the rig. So we have lots of screws, like you just everywhere we stop, you can look and see like little screws are poking out the side, and so we like screw those back in. We've lost some of them, so now that we're in one spot for a month or so, we made an appointment for kind of all of these random things if the ones that we didn't solve for, we made an appointment and we're taking it in the shop for that.
Sure. And I just go back and replace them with a tiny little stainless nut and bolt instead of just a screw. And especially in the skirting along the bottom of the rig. So I just carry those little parts with us. Another thing that vibrated out was the latch on one of the windows that has the emergency exit lever on it. We got to a destination and one of our back windows was just flapping open.
But we figured
that's because the hardware had just vibrated out of it.
But we figured out that that was happening because contributing factor was that we had replaced the blinds in the garage and with heavier blinds instead of the like paper foldy ones. Sirens. And so the blinds banging on the window contributed to that latch screwing up while we were traveling. So now we just raise the blinds when we travel, and it hasn't happened since then. So I don't know if it was that or if it was your fix, though. That made it not do it anymore, but okay. Yes, it was your fix for sure. Our rear awning, our first night, or literally the first night that we left from home, when we got to the Cracker Barrel that we were staying at, which was not the plan, and that was a whole nother entire story that we're not going to get into. But anyway, we got to a Cracker Barrel and the awning was out in the back, like, I don't know, like 16 inches or something, and we had been driving the whole day with the awning out. And so we got on YouTube and figured out, like, the button wouldn't retract it all the way. It would still go out, but then when it came in, it would stop at like 16 inches. So we got on YouTube and figured out, I think you got up there with a
ratchet, yeah,
and closed it all the way. But then the next time we put it out, it did the same thing. It only came in like 12 inches or whatever. But we already knew we could drive around with it like that because we had been. So we left that. So that's on our list for the dealership when we take it in. So the awning still doesn't go all the way in the back, but it will come in and out.
I'm sure you can pan up and show them it's right over our head.
I know, but it's hard that I'm going to get, see, I didn't go the wrong way there. So yeah, that's it. You can see it. It stays open like that all the time. Okay. See, I never know which direction to go. Okay. All right. We used, well, I'll leave that for the stuff we broke. Okay, living room. In the living room, there's like this little glass door that has like a magnetic push button latch that's above the fireplace, and it's never wanted to stay closed. Like every time we got somewhere, the glass door had fallen open. Like the little magnet wasn't enough to keep it closed while we were traveling. So we tried a few things. You flip the door around the other direction because it like latches up, and so he flipped the hinge so that it would latch down, thinking that would work, but it still kept coming unlatched.
Well, actually, the way that the glass is held into the hinges, and if any of you have one of these doors on your rig, you know what I'm talking about. There's just two little tension screws that kind of thread in and kind of pinch the glass into the frame. And as we go down the road, that just vibrates out. So that glass had actually fallen out. Didn't break, but it was problematic for a while.
So you made a latch.
I made a new latch
Out of like just a screw and a bolt and
a washer.
Okay. Where did the little piece come from?
That was, I think that was a spare latch that came in a lock set. That I was trying to fix the latch, which we haven't even gotten to, the latch on the front basement door, right underneath the fifth wheel. There's a door that opens up where we get to the generator and the batteries and things. And that latch wasn't holding on to the lip very well, so I had bought a new lock set, and it had a little piece of metal that I just fabricated into, or
I didn't put that on our list. I didn't know you fixed that. Okay, so maybe we'll show a picture of it. We basically made Doug made
It's really
a
basic.
DIY latch, but it works. Yeah. And now the thing stays closed and we didn't break our glass.
It's fixed now.
The drawer glides. So the drawer, we only have one real drawer in the kitchen, but
for pots and pans, we have the drawers
under the
sink, but underneath the stove.
Yeah, under the stove is like a regular drawer, and it's a big one, and we put plates and stuff in there. And the glides, it started like being really like funky when we pulled it out, and then I don't know. So you replaced
the drawer guides,
the bearings or something.
Yeah, the bearings came out, so all that the drawer guides had to be replaced.
All right,
we did a post on that.
The bedrooms really just like as we go down the road, there's like the walls and the ceiling have these like little staples in the like, I don't know, whatever that material is that is the walls. And
it's Luan.
And when you go down the road, it like vibrates, and so the little staples poke out. So we're like in there often like tapping the little staples back in to the wall and the ceilings. Okay. The garage, the stuff that we've had to do in the garage is mostly been related to like our modifications. So like the desk that Doug built for me, it's vibrated out of the wall, like it's screwed into the wall because it's heavy. And so he's had to re-screw that and sort of just get it more closely centered on the studs, I think, basically, for when it gets screwed in the wall. So we've done that. It's like a soap dispenser that is like on the wall in the bathroom that it pulled away from the wall and pulled like the finish off the wall when it did that.
We glued it to the wall, but what we glued it to is actually
kind of like wallpaper
kind of. And so basically it just pulled away from the...
So we had to redo that.
So that's the big thing.
It took us a long time to figure out the furniture. So the IKEA furniture that we use as our like storage, as our dresser and everything in the bedroom or our garage, it's just like independent pieces from IKEA, like three units, and so we had to strap those together. We've tried different skids, like just putting the non-skid pads on it, and that helped, but ultimately what finally worked was like metal strapping all three pieces really securely strapped to each other, and then big skids, big non-skid pads on the feet.
When she says strap, it's pieces of like flat metal that you get
with holes in
for carpentry, like mending, like I don't know if they're mending plates, but it's a flat piece of metal that has holes in it, and we were able to just like screw into the back of the furniture to hold all the pieces together, and that's worked.
All right, and then we talked about the exit window. Okay, so I think that's everything that broke.
Well, if you're astute,
that's right.
You can see behind me that this window has no reflection and this one does. That's because when we came out to start our live, this sash falls down, and
the top window, and it's that one in particular.
Yes.
And so you fixed like kind of pushing little tabs out and stuff, and it will hold it temporarily, but
yeah, when it doesn't like being opened and shut because the frame's a little wide for the little tabs that hold it in the track, and it is terrifying when that thing falls.
Yeah. So that's on the list for the dealership.
Yeah, that's warranty.
Okay, things we broke.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the stuff, our mistakes. So we pull the golf cart in. This is our bedroom. We're sitting on the porch, which is a ramp. So the bed goes all the way up to the ceiling. We pull our golf cart in on travel days, and then unload it when we get where we're going. And we have a Tempur-Pedic adjustable bed on our mattress, on our platform, our bed platform, and it has a remote that controls the bed. So
it's wired.
Yes, and it has a wire, so it goes from our bed and it like sits on our nightstand. So we were unloading the golf cart, and the remote had gotten it fallen down onto the golf cart in some way, and when Doug backed the golf cart out,
it was hooked onto the rearview mirror.
It ripped the remote.
So I snatched all the controls, ripped them apart, and when I backed out of the rig, and of course it always happens when there's people watching.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was like the only time we've ever had friends. We made a stop with friends and they were watching us set
They
up.
were watching me unload as I ripped the controls out of the bed.
Yeah, and we are
move.
now spoiled to being able to sit up in bed and watch TV and drink our coffee. So it was, Doug got right on rewiring the bed remote control.
Yeah, it got fixed.
All right, the thermostat. Our daughters have an Oculus, and they play Oculus in their tiny bedroom. And Liv hit the thermostat off the wall while she was playing VR. So we had to fix that. We used our tools for that. Doug was climbing up in the kitchen to, I think, kill a bug on the ceiling and grabbed the crown molding trim from the top of the cabinet and ripped the trim off the cabinet. So
it's only lightly nailed in there. That's not a handle.
Right, don't pull yourself up on it. So we had to replace that, or mend the trim. Oh, and we use those pens. They're like markers. They sell them like they're furniture markers, but they're like a Sharpie probably would work just fine. But we've used those a lot, like little things like the side of the doors where they rub, like when you close the bedroom door and then drive down the road, it rubs, and so the side of the door, kind of like the finish, will come off. So for the trim and for the side of the door and all that stuff, we use those furniture markers to kind of
they hide
cover
a lot
up.
of blemishes.
Yeah. Okay, what else did we break? Oh, well, are we gonna tell them about our big mistake? Our biggest.
Which one?
Our biggest mistake. So we've been out for 8 months, and this was our first stop back in Florida, which is where we're from, and we were literally, what do you think that is?
40 feet?
200 yards is what I was going to
Oh,
say.
no, that's 600 feet. We're very close.
100 yards from...
It's like a trailer length or two, so that's 8 maybe.
Okay.
It's close. You're almost
We're
here.
close. We were right there and could see our site, and someone was coming down the road, and the road is really only like a 1.5-ish lane road, so we had scooted over because the person wasn't going to go around, and there's a really low tree branch that we hit on the way to this site.
I hit it. I was driving.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, we ripped the awning off of the side of the rig, and we scraped the lining off the roof.
Tore a hole in the roof.
But just the
Not
lining.
the
It's not the
structure of the
structure.
liner.
So hopefully, I mean, it's going to be a big repair, but we were able to tape it up, and it's fine.
The moral
But
of that
we
story is, even
have
if the
tools.
RV park says, take this path with the magic marker on the map, like they always do, take this path through our park to your spot. That does not mean that you will not drive under a low limb.
It does not mean that
They're
you
not warning
might
you about
not
that
have
stuff.
to drive on the other side of the street on the wrong side of the road in order to miss their limb.
My fault, but-
I think the moral of the story is make sure you have tools, because we really would have ripped the rig up even more if we weren't prepared to fix what needed to be fixed in order for us to get out from under the branch. So we had to, it ripped the awning off, but the awning arm flew out as soon as it got past the awning. So we would have, if we didn't have the tools and the ladder to get up there, we would have had to back up and rip the awning arm off of the rig or something. I don't know how we would have fixed the problem if we didn't have a ladder that we climbed up there, and you had all those little ratchety things. So we took the arms off of the awning on both sides so that we could completely remove the awning from the rig. We also have that giant pole thingy.
Oh, the wire lifter.
We have this big, is it fiberglass?
It is.
A big,
It's
giant, we've lugged this thing
It's a piece of safety equipment.
through
It's
19 states.
16, it's 2 8-foot lengths of fiberglass pole that have a big steel U at the end, and it's for lifting wires in case we encounter low wires with the rig, we have a safe way to lift those wires up and keep going without having to call someone.
So far, we've only used it to hang our really heavy string lights, which it was good for that too. I'm glad we used it for that, and I'm glad that we haven't had to lift up wires to go under or anything crazy like that. But we did also use it. It was I don't know how we would have gotten through the awning issue without it, because we had to, like, the awning is heavy, and he's on a ladder trying to unscrew these giant heavy arms with the awning still somewhat attached. Oh, you also had to cut all the wires and cap all the wires for the awning. So that was another set of tools we had.
So you needed a good pair of pliers that you could do electrical work with, a socket wrench, a ladder, an assistant, and some way to hold the awning arms back, because what we learned is that they are under constant, like, they're spring loaded when they're against the rig. They want to push out. So when the motor actually pulls them back against tension. So when I hit the tree branch and broke the awning, all that spring tension pushed the arm out. Well, that made it so we couldn't back up past the tree branch I hit. So it all had to come off the rig.
So that we used the pull thing to help support the awning while he was taking it off, and then also the branches were low. So in order to get to when we started to back the rig back out from underneath the limb, we lifted, because the awning was still like, anyway, we used the pull thingy to lift some branches out of the way too. Okay, so those were the big things that we ruined, or that we broke. I don't think there was anything else.
I feel like there's more.
I don't think so. We talked about it yesterday. And then the last things were improvements that we made. So like I said at the beginning, the
fence gates that we had to, like, come up with a hack to hold them, so the wind didn't blow them back against.
Yeah, we used bungee cords for that, but not tools exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, so the improvements that we made, we put in a washer and dryer while we were here, and while we were not here, while we were on the road, which we're still on the road. I just feel like because we're in Florida, like we're like, all right, we made it back.
Oh yeah, we don't live here.
No, we don't live here. We're still at a campground, and we'll be. Anyway, the washer and dryer we put in on one of our first few stops, and so we had like a big hole saw. We had to drill a giant hole. So we had that. We've also like put some like organization stuff in, so, like just hanging hooks and stuff and shelving, things like that has come up. Plumbing. And then we also put the blinds up. We got blinds for the garage, so we replaced all the window coverings in the garage. We also put new faucets in the bathrooms, which made a huge difference, because those faucets were like so shallow and short, it was hard to like wash your hands under them even. So we got new faucets that are taller, and it's easier to use the sink. I think that was it.
No, there was the plumbing fix for the drain on the washer.
Oh, that's right.
Because it just has that drain hose just has that U shape in it that you just kind of like, even if you're in a home, it generally just hangs in the drain, or at least has in our house. Except here, we had a couple times where like it had bubbled up out of that drain, suds, and water on the floor of the rig is never a good thing. So we had to come up with a custom patch of random plumbing parts to make it so that that drain is watertight.
Yeah, I can post that too.
Sure.
All right, that was our list. And I still have some coffee left. Anybody have any questions? So all of that to say that we've really used, we've been really grateful to have as many tools as we do on the road with us. The toy haulers don't have nearly the like storage under rig or undercarriage storage or whatever. They don't have big basements like other rigs. So I think because obviously it has a giant garage, but we're using the garage, not for tools and things like that. So it was a lot for us to try to sort of figure out with the limited space we have what we really needed, and but we're really happy that we made the space for a giant toolbox and some of the stuff that we've carried, because we've absolutely needed it. I don't think that would be a good one. Any tools that we have that we haven't used?
Sure. I mean, we've sold a lot of them. I'll admit that I brought a lot of stuff that we didn't need, that we've incrementally sold on Facebook Marketplace as we've gone.
Yeah, but we did pretty good. Basically, it was like, we have to find a place for it. It cannot just get loaded and unloaded out of our bedroom every stop. So we, like the first 2 or 3 stops, by the end of those stops, the goal was to have the garage just our bedroom, and that helped us really pare down on what we needed for tools. So.
When we left, we were carrying all of our bicycles in the garage, in addition to Stacy's Peloton and the golf cart, I think, and I had some coolers in there and some other stuff. I was loading up the golf cart with stuff, but we added a hitch to the front of the F350, and so we have a bike rack that extends off the front of the truck, and we hang the bikes out there now, because having them in the garage was just too rough on the rig.
Right. Someone asked about the desk. Can we discuss the construction of the desk and raising the monitor? So
we should probably do a whole separate post about that.
We
can talk
I
about it.
I haven't gotten into a lot of details about it because it really was like us just winging it. So I do have the mechanics, so the monitor lift and the bracket hinges that are for the desktop are linked in our Amazon favorites list. But we really, and then besides that, I think you have to look, the monitor lift will tell you what kind of monitor you have to buy that will mount to that type of lift. I want to say it's Vega or something like that. Anyway, but
if you contact us with specific questions, we can answer them.
Well, but I haven't been, because like I was saying, I haven't been answering the like specific questions about it besides here are the components, because we literally repurpose things in the rig. So like, I mean, they're not gonna make a desk from a bathroom door. Like it literally was the Luan, some parts of the front of the desk are from the door to the bathroom that we took out.
Yeah.
The top counterpart of the desk that sits on top of the lift is from a table that was part of the rig. Like it's the kind that goes into the posts on the floor, or the holes in the floor on posts. And we knew we were never going to use that back here, so we cut that in half. Like it's not, and then the rest of it is sort of built with plywood, which we had to, like the way he made the frame had to be in a way that it would account for where the outlet is on the back of the wall, because we had to plug in all these outlets for all of the all of the technical stuff. Anyway, it's really not something that would make sense at all to share exactly how we
exactly how I did it is,
so really I felt like the only thing we could do is share the components of it. And we have talked about it, and I keep telling him that we need to come up with a way to figure out a way to make one with something that you can get on Amazon or like an IKEA cabinet or something like that, and work through sort of incorporating those parts into a cabinet that we could recommend, and sort of how to modify that cabinet with these mechanics that we bought to do your own, because I would love for us to be able to share and help people out with it. We get a lot of questions about it.
Yeah, we built that in one day with scrap stuff, so we should probably rebuild it, and this time be a bit more thoughtful about recording how we do it, and then we can share that almost like a kit,
Right.
because that was built in one day, just as it's got to get done.
Right.
And how can we repurpose the stuff that we're taking out of the rig so that it doesn't just go in the dumpster? So as she shared, what looks like finish on it is the skin off the bathroom door.
Oh,
from
we
the
bought
rig.
the tabletop is a oh, sorry, I interrupted you. The desktop is the top of a coffee table that we got at World Market. So that's not still there. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like if we were going to give more details than just the components, we would have to like sort it out. It's actually helpful, as we're going to have to do the same thing. Just having an idea, a great resource fund. Awesome.
Sure. We're happy to help. I mean, that's really why we're doing this. It's not because we're good at it. It's just that
you drive each other nuts?
I mean, in what way? Because we get a lot of questions about like being in such a small space, and I would say no to that. I don't think the small space doesn't.
I think for us, I'm much more of like, I need quiet and like time alone to sort of like reset and regroup. And Doug is really social, so we've dealt with that aspect of like, he has a lot of friends, he talks on the phone a lot, and I'm almost the opposite. I talk on the phone for work a lot, but I need a lot of like downtime to feel like I'm not crazy. So that was a big part of the decision for this rig. So having my dedicated office space where I can close the door. I've also always worked from home, so my family knows that when I'm working, I'm on the phone and I'm really focused. So I get all day, 8 hours at least a day to myself and in quiet and peace. So that helps me be a more sane person. And then being in a campground where everybody's super friendly, and we say hi neighbors to everybody every day. We have new neighbors. That helps Doug stay more sane. And then when we're traveling, there's so much to do on the weekends that we're really out exploring together a lot. So we're not, the four of us having downtime in the rig is really just dinner time, or and even then we go for walks or golf cart rides.
Mm-hmm.
We're not driving each other nuts.
Yeah, the close confines question is a good one, and we get it a lot. And I think one of the things that I want to give credit to is the weather, because when the weather's bad, which has been really rare, the way we've moved across the country and then moved north and then moved east all around, we've kind of followed nice weather. So that gives us the ability to go outside, go for a one-wheel ride, go for a golf cart ride, go for a bike ride, get out and do something. But when the weather's bad and we're all in the house, especially if the weather's bad and there's no Wi-Fi, then we can start to get at each other.
All right. So everyone wants to watch a movie.
If the weather's good, or there's good Wi-Fi, or both, then no, we're good. Because Stacy's office, this is the Momentum 393G. So the back 16 feet of it is the garage / workout room / bedroom / office. So, and it's almost 9-foot ceilings. So, and it's got a ton of windows, especially with this back being all glass. So I don't think Stacy really feels like she's in a really confined space. And the rest of us, she just closes the door, and the rest of us make do with the rest of the rig. So.
All right. Extra precautions you take for safety, as in creepy person lurking around. Okay. Oh, and how are you liking your one wheel?
Oh, yeah. I was definitely excited, and then when I got it, I was like super nervous. Like, what have I done? I'm gonna kill myself on this thing. But I think once I had gotten like 100 miles under my belt, taken some long rides on trails, not roads with cars and stuff. I love it. Absolutely love it. I love teaching people how to ride it because everyone's super curious about it.
It's really great for campgrounds. Like the golf cart and the one wheels fit this lifestyle really well, because you can, if the campground's big, you kind of zip around and get places, and yeah.
The lurking question.
The lurking. We've really only stayed, I think, only one place that I felt like maybe we shouldn't be here.
Well, it was just like we're different than everyone else who's in here. That was kind of the feeling. Like, one of these things is not like the other. And what the difference was is that they all lived there, and we were tourists. And we were there for 2 weeks, a week and a half. And we didn't have any problems. I think the thing that I would say to that is, moving virtually every week, all year, we stayed in 19 different states, multiple places inside of those states. So we've had a lot of different spots, and it's not happened.
Yeah,
there's not been someone lurking around.
And even if there were, like at that one campground where I was like, I don't know about that, but there was a particular camper that was really bizarre. Anyway, even that one though, like Doug makes friends with the people, around us, and there's inevitably someone around that is very friendly and engaging and will talk to you. And so many people are outside all the time, that I feel like people watch out for each other, even if there is sort of one odd person out or whatever. And we still haven't, I mean, knock on wood, but we haven't ever had anything stolen.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And I'm not trying to tempt fate, but we have, plenty of high value stuff outside. Whether it's our coolers or the bed of our truck has not been covered on this whole first leg of the trip, which is something we're working on changing right now. So we've had tons of gear in the bed of the truck. Nothing has disappeared out of the truck, except the one time we went into Yosemite and I brought a cooler and I left it in the bed of the truck, but that was park rangers and they were totally within their rights to take that from us.
Yeah, FYI, they're serious about the bear locks, and on your Yeti, it has to be 2 bear locks, not 1, if you leave your cooler.
Yeah. So, is concerning as it can seem, we just haven't experienced any of the problems.
Yeah.
Which we're fortunate for.
And even with our kids being out, like our kids are older, and so they're out playing and riding their bikes or the one wheel or whatever, and we haven't had any problems, fortunately. All right, we've moved off of tools to general questions.
Yeah.
Anything else?
What other questions do you have? How can we help?
How can we help? How can we be of service?
Any truck
to your
breakdowns? I'll take
campground?
this one. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So we have, just to level set, we have a 2017 Ford F-350. When we left, our truck had about 47,000 miles on it. It was in great shape. When we got to Mandeville, Louisiana, the variable speed fan clutch went out, which caused the truck to overheat. It was only overheating under load with the trailer, so we were able to, and it overheated on move day. So we pulled the truck over into like a big truck stop,
station.
And we're able to find a new fan clutch, get it installed, and get back on the road. And then when we got out we were coming out of the Rockies, so we were in Montana. We had a check engine light come on, and the truck started behaving really strangely. And we're fortunate to get someone to take a look at it, and found that the wiring harness had been routed improperly on a previous repair, which was likely that fan clutch. And the wiring harness was rubbing against the pulley on the alternator, which caused a short. So we've had 2 breakdowns. One was just a part wearing out, and the second was, I think, an installation error on an earlier repair. But
which we were really fortunate, because we were worried in Montana because we were right outside of which park? Was it Yellowstone?
No, I thought it was going to the Sun Road, but
Glacier, that's right. We were right outside of Glacier, so it was hard for us to get that spot because it was in the summer and right near a national park. So it was hard. There weren't a lot of spots around, but that was something I was really to stay. We thought, who knows how long it's going to take to get this part in, like, whatever is wrong. Like, who knows how long it's going to take for it to actually get repaired. And so we were nervous about having somewhere to stay. But that is something else we've also really learned, I think, on the road. It's been that campgrounds are really, like, helpful. Like, they understand that some things are going to happen that are, at least the ones we've had both of those incidents happen at, they were really helpful. They were, understood that there wasn't anything we could do, and this is how we're living, and we are, in Montana and don't know anyone or anything, any shops or anything. So anyway, they found the campground had a spot for us to move to, because we did stay there longer than we had initially planned, just waiting for the appointment to get into the shop. So they found a spot for us to boondock in the campground. And it was a water and electric site. It just didn't have sewer.
So what other questions can we answer? Any curiosity left?
All right. Ann, I just finished my coffee. You?
All right. I got like a sip left.
All right. All
Well,
right.
thank you all for coming.
Yes. Thanks for having coffee with us.
Yes.
And
we enjoy helping. So if you've got more questions, you know how to find us.
Yeah, or if you come up with another topic you're curious about, DM me and we'll put another live together. All right, see ya.
Have a great day.
All right, I gotta figure out how to turn it off now.